David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney+. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney+ every night.
Tonight, the breaking news right here, the bombshell arrest in the Jeffrey Epstein case. The stunning image tonight, former Prince Andrew in the backseat of a car, driven from a police station after being arrested on his 66th birthday, held for 11 hours. The brother of King Charles already isolated over his ties to Jeffrey Epstein and allegations of sex assault. Tonight, what they're now investigating when it comes to Andrew. King Charles tonight releasing a statement, and we'll have it. James Longman standing by live in London. Also breaking, there are tornado warnings right now as we come on the air, tracking severe storms and devastating fires across multiple states at this hour. Then tomorrow, the rain, the snow from Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia, New York to Boston. And then this potential nor'easter that could hit this weekend. Lee Goldberg has it all. He has the forecast. Tonight, news on the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Authorities now squarely focused on two key pieces of evidence, including DNA found in Nancy Guthrie's home and what we've learned. Aaron Katersky standing by. The urgent manhunt right now, a suspect accused of stealing an ambulance and then ramming it into a Homeland Security office. Authorities believe then pouring gasoline all around. Tonight, just in, President Trump's new ultimatum to Iran, saying agree to a nuclear deal or, quote, bad things will happen. And tonight here, what ABC News has now learned, what President Trump is considering when it comes to possible U.S. military action against Iran. Ian Pannell with late reporting tonight. A JetBlue flight making an emergency landing, passengers racing to get off the plane on slides. Tonight here, look at this, the remarkable discovery, a new species of dinosaur, where it was found and how large it was. And late today, winning the gold, the U.S. women's hockey team beating Canada. And we'll go right to Italy.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. We begin tonight here with the breaking news, the bombshell arrest of the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Former Prince Andrew, the brother of King Charles, arrested. It's believed the first British royal arrested in nearly 400 years. Andrew, Mountbatten, Windsor, in custody, held for about 11 hours. Tonight here, the images showing him in the backseat of a vehicle as he was leaving the police station just a short time ago. Police searching his home, sources telling ABC News the royal family received no prior notice. Andrew is under investigation on suspicion of misconduct in public office over his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Andrew reportedly arrested after the files released by the U.S. Justice Department allegedly show he may have shared confidential information with Jeffrey Epstein while Andrew was serving as the trade envoy for the U.K. The late Virginia Giuffre had long accused Andrew of sexual assault when she was 17. He denied it. Years later, he settled with Giuffre in a civil suit. Tonight, what her family is now saying about his arrest. And this evening here, King Charles releasing a statement insisting, quote, the law must take its course. President Trump responding to the arrest tonight. ABC's chief international correspondent James Longman leading us off now from London tonight.
Tonight, the face of a man who's lost everything. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the former prince, shrinking into the back seat of a car, driven from a police station after becoming the first royal to be arrested in modern British history.
Good afternoon, Your Majesty.
In London, Andrew's brother, King Charles, tight-lipped.
Your Majesty, how are you feeling after your brother's arrest? Have you spoken to your brother, Your Majesty?
It was at the King's private estate in Sandringham where police arrested Andrew early this morning. Charles was not there, and sources tell us he had no advance notice. In an extraordinary statement, the King saying, what now follows is the full, fair and proper process, pledging the authorities will have his full and wholehearted support and cooperation, and declaring, let me state clearly, the law must take its course. The former prince, already largely banished from the royal family over his friendship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Files recently released by the Justice Department include bizarre photos of Andrew kneeling over a young woman lying on the floor. Today's arrest, which police say is related to suspicion of misconduct in public office, apparently stems from something else. DOJ files raising questions about whether Andrew, while serving as a British trade envoy, shared confidential information with Epstein. In his disastrous interview with the BBC, Andrew acknowledged their relationship had opened doors.
Do you regret the whole friendship with Epstein?
Now, still not, and the reason being is that the people that I met and the opportunities that I was given to learn, either by him or because of him, were actually very useful. Do I regret the fact that he has quite obviously conducted himself in a manner unbecoming? Yes.
Unbecoming? He was a sex offender.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm being polite, in the sense that he was a sex offender.
Andrew claimed he cut ties with Epstein in 2010 after he'd been released from prison. But newly released emails indicate that's not true. In early 2011, Epstein writing to Andrew, "The press is piling in on me in the States. Nothing to do, just to make sure you're okay." Andrew's response, "I'm just as concerned for you. Don't worry about me. It would seem we are in this together and we'll have to rise above it," adding, "Keep in close touch and we'll play some more soon." British authorities gave no indication today's arrest was tied to allegations of sexual misconduct. Andrew has long denied having sex with a teenage Virginia Jeffrey, who claimed she was trafficked to him by Epstein. Ultimately, Andrew paid Jeffrey a sizable settlement. She died by suicide last year. Tonight, the British monarchy shaken to its core. And in the United States, President Trump, who had a long friendship with Epstein and is mentioned throughout the Epstein files, though not accused of any wrongdoing, says his thoughts are with the royal family.
I think it's a shame. I think it's very sad. I think it's so bad for the royal family.
Virginia Jeffrey's sister-in-law, Amanda, telling us her thoughts are with Epstein's victims.
It's not just a day for Virginia to revel in, but it's a day for every single survivor who has been screaming, who has felt silent, who has felt ordinary, who has been pushed under the rug.
David, this is the first time in nearly 400 years that a British royal has been arrested. Now, Andrew was released today without charge, but he remains under investigation. There is every chance that the brother of the king could become a convicted criminal. David?
James Longman leading us off tonight here. James, thank you. Meantime, back here in the U.S., a potentially dangerous night ahead. There are tornado warnings up as we're on the air right now. We're also tracking these severe storms and devastating fires across multiple states tonight. Red flag warnings from New Mexico to Missouri, winds gusting up to 70 miles per hour. These images right here, fires in Kansas already destroying nearly 300,000 acres. Rain and snow tomorrow from Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia, New York, right up to Boston. And then, of course, we're watching that potential nor'easter that could hit this weekend. So Lee Goldberg has the forecast, the tornado warnings up for tonight, and the images coming in now.
Tonight, critical fire danger and red flag warnings as wildfires rage across the plains. Already incinerating more than 480 square miles in parts of 3 states. In western Oklahoma, firefighters driving through the scorched earth and damage left behind by the fast-moving 43 complex fire in Woodward County.
It was pretty rough. We were overran immediately in the beginning. It was just too much volume.
Thankfully, firefighters able to prevent any homes from being lost there. Meanwhile, parts of the upper Midwest dealing with the aftermath of a blizzard, accidents all over the Twin Cities area. The Minnesota State Patrol sharing videos of jackknife tractor trailers and other crashes on Interstate 94, east of Barnesville, warning drivers to continue to take it slow. And as a new system moves east, a new danger, ice jams. Massive chunks of ice piling up on Oil Creek in Venango County, Pennsylvania. Officials warning these ice jams can cause major flooding and conditions can change in an instant.
So severe weather across the country again tonight, and Lee is standing by with the forecast to take us through it all. Hi, Lee.
Hey, David, boy, you name it, we have it on this alert map, whether it be avalanche warnings in the west or the severe weather across the Ohio Valley. We have active tornado warnings across Illinois and into Indiana, and then winter alerts into the northeast and through the plains as well. Through tonight, snow from Nebraska into Iowa. We'll still have severe weather moving from Indiana into Ohio and heavy rain in the mid-Atlantic. Tomorrow morning's a soaking from D.C. to Philly to New York, maybe some snow in the Hudson Valley and Capital District. Through the day, it's snow in upstate New York and New England. 3 to 6 inches from Boston into Maine, icing northern Pennsylvania into Connecticut. Then the weekend storm. Still trying to pinpoint this storm track. If it hugs the coast, obviously it's higher impact with more snow and wind. We think it's a little farther offshore. That still could mean a light to moderate snowfall. We'll keep you posted every step of the way. David?
Yeah, let's hope so. We'll track it right here with you. Thanks, Lee. We turn now to new developments tonight in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Authorities are now focusing tonight on 2 central pieces of evidence, including what could be that crucial DNA found in Nancy Guthrie's home. Here's our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky, from Tucson again tonight.
Tonight, 19 days into the search for Nancy Guthrie, investigators are squarely focused on the two key clues they have, including DNA found inside her home. Sources telling ABC News it's a mixture of DNA from a male and a female. They need to separate it, and they're hoping the male DNA could help lead to a potential suspect. They have said the DNA is not from a member of Guthrie's family. They also remain focused on video from the front door and on that backpack, which they know is sold at Walmart. Law enforcement sources tell ABC News Walmart is helping authorities with any receipts for that kind of backpack.
It's, hey, this backpack has been identified at only purchased at Walmart. That'd be a pretty high.
And tonight, investigators are casting a wider net in the search for Nancy Guthrie. There's no definitive lead pointing to Mexico. But tonight, officials in Sonora that borders Arizona say they're in touch with the FBI and ready to help. That's the entrance to Mexico. We're little more than an hour's drive from Nancy Guthrie's home. If she was taken here, it's a quick and easy trip across the border. A group of mothers who search for the missing in Mexico are now helping to spread the word. ABC News was given access to the 911 call center where tips are coming in.
Is this in regards to the Nancy Guthrie case?
They remain hopeful someone will recognize the man who walked up to Nancy Guthrie's front door, turned around, and grabbed brush to put in front of the doorbell camera. That 19 days in, someone will say, I think I know him.
When those tips dry up, this case goes cold. We believe somebody out there knows who did this. We need that person to call us.
It was a combination of tips about that video, analysis of online searches, and other techniques that led investigators to the homes of these two men who were questioned and released. Tonight, those men are trying to clear their names. A lawyer for the man most recently detained, Luke Daly, saying in a statement Mr. Daly has no link whatsoever to Nancy Guthrie and has no information related to her kidnapping. And early on, hours after video from the front door was released, delivery driver Carlos Palazuelos was detained and questioned too, now telling our Phoenix affiliate KNXV.
They just went with supposedly a tip they had, but they could have done things differently. They could have walked to me and asked, like, hey, where were you there? Where were you? But they didn't.
Tonight, so many in this community just want answers and peace for the Guthrie family. The people who live here know the whole country is watching this case. And one longtime resident telling me they want closure for Savannah Guthrie and her siblings. The people here saying it's unimaginable what's happened to this family.
We want the end. That's all. We want to find out what happened to Nancy.
Tonight, David, investigators vowed to keep at it. They say thousands of tips are still pouring in. So far, they've only been able to identify the suspect's backpack. They're still working to identify everything else he was wearing. David?
Aaron Katersky with us from Tucson again tonight. Aaron, thank you. To other news, there's an urgent manhunt at this hour. A suspect accused of stealing an ambulance and then ramming it into a Homeland Security office just outside Boise, Idaho. Here's Pierre Thomas with what he's learned tonight.
Tonight, federal and state authorities in Idaho urgently trying to find the suspect they say stole an ambulance and rammed it into a building housing U.S. Department of Homeland Security offices before then trying to set the building on fire.
There is no doubt this building would have been burned, putting the lives of first responders and others at risk.
According to Meridian police, the suspect fled Wednesday night shortly after 11 p.m. after being scared off by first responders and before any fire could be ignited. But police say the evidence suggests a level of premeditation.
The suspect drove the ambulance north through the parking lot and retrieved gas cans that had been staged in nearby vegetation.
While motive is not yet clear, police claim that DHS leasing office space in that building has been the subject of controversy regarding the Trump administration's immigration policy. DHS has been warning about a surge in threats against immigration officials, and while no one was injured, police are emphasizing just how dangerous the situation was. David?
All right, Pierre Thomas on this from Washington tonight. Pierre, thank you. Late today, President Trump with a new ultimatum to Iran saying agree to a nuclear deal or, quote, bad things will happen. And what ABC News has now learned tonight, what President Trump is now considering when it comes to possible U.S. military action against Iran. Here's our chief foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell, from the region tonight.
Tonight, an ultimatum to Iran. President Trump warning it has a maximum of 15 days to make a nuclear deal or really bad things will happen.
We're either going to get a deal or it's going to be unfortunate for them.
A U.S. official says the president held a meeting in the Situation Room with top advisors 24 hours ago discussing Iran. A source familiar with the planning telling ABC News the president's considering a range of options, from a limited strike that had enhanced the US negotiating position to larger-scale strikes on government, military and nuclear targets. Trump ordering a massive build-up of US firepower in the Middle East, the US demanding no nuclear program, a curb on ballistic missiles and an end to support for proxy militant groups like Hamas and Hezbollah. David, despite ongoing talks and massive military pressure, Iran's supreme leader defiant, warning the strongest army in the world may sometimes get slapped so hard it can't stand up straight. David?
Ian Pannell from the region tonight will continue to watch this very closely with you, Ian. Thank you. Back in the U.S. tonight in Philadelphia, the slavery display at the president's house where George Washington lived has now been restored. Philadelphia Mayor Sherrell Parker viewing the display today and personally thanking National Park Service workers for reinstalling the exhibit. A judge ordered the display restored. Tonight, the Trump administration saying it will appeal, insisting the changes were done to align with, quote, shared national values. Tonight, outside the Department of Justice in Washington, D.C., a massive banner with President Trump's photo is now on display on the DOJ building. The DOJ saying it is celebrating its, quote, historic work to make America safe again at President Trump's direction. The banner is drawing scrutiny because the Justice Department has long worked to demonstrate independence from the executive branch. Tonight, President Trump's handpicked committee approving his massive White House ballroom project. The U.S. Commission of Fine Arts giving the green light now to the ballroom, 90,000 square feet, larger than the White House itself. The East Wing has already been torn down to make way. When we come back here tonight, there is news this evening. The skiers buried alive on the slopes, and now we learn many of the victims were moms. They're on a parents' trip, and what we've learned tonight. Also, a JetBlue flight making an emergency landing, passengers racing to get off the plane on the slides. Tonight, here the remarkable discovery, a new species of dinosaur, where it was found and how large it was. And of course, late today, I'm sure you heard, winning the gold, the U.S. women's hockey team beating Canada. So we'll go right to Italy here in a moment. Stay tuned. Well, tonight here, adding to the heartbreak after that deadly avalanche in Northern California where 9 people were killed, we have now learned tonight that most of the group buried in the snow were mothers of students from a private skiing school called Sugar Bowl Academy, together on a parents' trip. The group set out Sunday on that ill-fated backcountry trip with 4 guides and were making their way back to the trailhead when the avalanche the size of a football field engulfed them. We have now learned tonight that it was engine failure that forced that JetBlue flight from Newark Airport to turn around and make an emergency landing. Passengers evacuating the plane using a slide. Newark Airport actually closing for about an hour last night. Officials say no one was hurt. When we come back here tonight, the remarkable discovery, that new species of dinosaur, and you'll see it. Also tonight, the Pulp Fiction actor and his cause of death. And the U.S. women's hockey team beating Canada. We'll go right to Italy in a moment. To the Index and tonight, news on the cause of death for actor Peter Greene, best known for his role in Pulp Fiction. Greene was found dead in his New York City apartment in December. The medical examiner now says he died of a gunshot wound to his left armpit. His death ruled as accidental. Tonight, scientists announcing the discovery of a new species of dinosaur. Nat Geo explorer Paul Sereno says Spinosaurus mirabilis was roughly the size of a T-Rex with a brightly colored crest on its head and lived about 95 million years ago. The findings of the expedition that discovered Spinosaurus in the Sahara Desert published in the journal Science. More at natgeo.com. When we come back here tonight, winning the gold, the U.S. women's hockey team beating Canada late today, and the history made by one of the American stars on that team. We'll go right to Italy after the break here. Tonight, the gold medal thriller for the U.S. women's hockey team late today. Janae Norman, lucky enough to watch it all right there in Italy for us. Janae?
David, we were there in the arena. The atmosphere was electric as Team USA stunned Canada with a thrilling comeback win in overtime. They struggled at the start, not scoring in the first period, but they bounced back big, David. Team captain Hillary Knight tying the score at 1 late in the third period with her record-breaking 15th Olympic gold, and that pushed the game to sudden death overtime with Megan Keller's game-winning goal. You can see the puck going in there on the left, clinching gold for the American women. And David, if that wasn't enough, right after that win, another for Team USA, this time in figure skating. 20-year-old Alyssa Liu earning gold in women's singles, the first gold medal for an American woman in that category since 2002. David, in 2002, Alyssa hadn't even been born yet.
And now she's impressing us all. Janae, thanks so much. Looks like you're having fun, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow. Good night.
David Muir, the most trusted anchor in America, the most watched anchor in America. Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir the #1 newscast in America.